Everybody, a very good afternoon, good morning. How you doing? I'm Jashin Kapani. I'm the founder and CEO of I'm Decor Design. We're in the business of designing and manufacturing home and office decor and interior solutions, and we do design, supply, manufacture, and we conceptualize lots of stuff which is useful for homes and offices and for banquets or hotels or for reselling in showrooms and stuff. So these are for interior projects, these are for institutional projects, these are for um, libraries, these are for studio apartments, these are for villas, these are for farmhouses. So wherever you require furniture, wherever you require accessories and stuff, we are the people to get in touch with and stuff. And I'm the brainwave, the brainchild, the founder and the CEO. Firstly, I'd like to thank some of my professional acquaintances and friends from abroad who sent me a message today. I had no idea that my videos are being followed, and you like the idea that I'm so active on social media. Honestly, I try and keep it balanced and stuff because I believe that too much of time you spend on social media can be a bad bet because it kind of gets your creative juices and your, intellect. In a negative fashion and stuff. So I like to soak up more information by researching and reading up books and stuff like that, and doing market surveys or interacting with people and stuff. So I guess everybody works differently, and it's just that when you're more careful and cautious on the time you spend on the screen and the quality of work you do, it's always useful. So yesterday, I think after a break, I logged into my computer for work and stuff, working from a coffee shop. What really kicked me was to kind of research the trends and the fashion and everything, and looking at the designs and looking at the creativity of most showrooms in the biggest mall of the country, DLF. And as I touched those products, as I entered the showrooms and stuff, and I looked at fashion, I looked at clothes, I looked at bags, I looked at designs. I think I was creatively really recharged and stuff, and I didn't want to be on my computer honestly, because that's what I do most of the time and stuff, like everybody else. So the point is, as I was talking and I was having a mind share there's some people who were talking about layoffs and discontinuing with their jobs and stuff because they feel that their management has changed in certain brands and stuff, and they've been reading up on layoffs and stuff in other countries and stuff. So that brings me to a thought share on, is it important to hold on to people, great people, quality people? How does it work? So most of us know that sometimes in organizations, jobs are created, posts are created to kind of key people, and when people join in, they don't do anything really worthwhile or really spectacular, and they just are kind of earning their monies, and they're just kind of killing their time because they want to hold on to the post they've been offered, or they think it's worthwhile to be there, and without them the organization can't function and stuff. So there's so many cases where you hear that you're doing a favor by hiring someone or kind of giving a job to someone to them to do them a favor and stuff, and that person who is on that portfolio or on that role is not performing, and rest of the people are getting perturbed and hassled by it. So it happens so many times. So the concern is that what do you do with such people? So I'd like to give a thought on this, or a perspective on this, that if you have people whom you've hired just to do a favor, or just to kind of rope in a project, or just to kind of do something, then it's a bad strategy. A professional organization or a great organization does not mean having extra head counts and kind of keeping them in meaningful positions or useful roles when they're not doing anything. The ideal bet is to fire them, and this is what this American author also kind of seconds, and he says that you'll be doing good to your company if you were to keep more talented people and useful people, or constructively, who are kind of contributing and adding value to your work and stuff, rather than keeping people who are just there for the heck of it and stuff. So no offense meant to India and other countries, but there's so many organizations, there's so many setups where I see that people are hired and they're given these jazzy roles and stuff like that. Or probably when they were hired, it was a good role, it was a good profile that they had, and then over the months or years, probably the organization is going through losses or whatever, and they don't relieve people even if they want to go away, because they see value in that person. So we've seen this case of an international story where there's a lady who's kind of taken the organization to court for not being given work for 20 years and stuff. So my point is that why the hell did she have to spend 20 years of her time on that role? The point is, if something was not suiting you and if something was not making sense to you, you could have chosen to kind of walk away and done away with the organization, but you were. So obviously you're basically making use of the environment and the organization and the contacts and kind of whatever purpose you have and stuff, So the point is this, that it's very important to understand that when you yourself are not feeling satisfied, when you're not kind of enthused and pepped up about a role or what you're doing and stuff, what makes amicable sense to say bye bye to the organization. I'm sharing a professional experience of my own. I used to work for a real estate company, and when they hired us, they gave us real promising scenarios. The office was fantastic, as good as a five-star hotel, and the work I was doing there, I really loved it because I was working in the corporate communication, branding and PR department, and I would kind of work on international projects, and I was interact with all international bankers, and I would kind of talk to you know high-end clients and stuff. We would make all these presentations on projects, and we would kind of work on real estate projects, and we had this amazing branding and coffee table campaigns and videos and stuff happening. And what really kicked me was the amazing office that I had, and I hung in there for a year and a half or 2 years, and then I think the real estate company went down, and then I was not enjoying my work, and I kind of questioned my boss, and I told him that, you know what, you've taken me on board, you're giving me a decent salary of whatever money and stuff, but the point is, I don't have anything to look forward to when I come to the office. I have no work. And honestly speaking, I came to a phase where I thought my life was over because I was working from an organization which had only 5 people. It was an old school organization and stuff, and people had left, and only because of the architect and only because of 3-4 people whom I'm still in touch with. I was there in that organization, I'm still friends with them, I still meet them and stuff. But the point is this, that when there is nothing to look forward to at work, and you're not constructively or intellectually or creatively enthused to do something, it's time to kind of say bye bye to that organization. I would drive every day for 2 years to that organization, and I would sit there and just be on social media and Facebook and not do much. Yes, I did enjoy the coffee. Yes, I did enjoy the beautiful office. I was attached to the organization. I loved my work and stuff, but then there was nothing to look forward to, so I gave up. So this is what even the author is saying. She's basically an international author who's basically an expert in planning, and like her, even I believe inspiration is perishable, but it can be replenished. And if you have a setup where you're not enjoying your work, it's time to say bye bye to that. And she says don't worry about the one that got away. It's much worse to have people on staff who aren't doing anything useful. I say people who are not doing anything meaningful or useful have to be done away with, because they are like parasites. They get into the system, they bring everybody down. If you're working on a cause or a concern or whatever, they have this habit of kind of getting the efficiency and productivity also down, because half the time they're only interested in kind of trying to figure out what is it that they can gain from the organization and the system and stuff. And then she's also saying that there's plenty of talent out there, so what you really need to do is find someone who fits the role well. And great has nothing to do with it. If you do not need someone, their job is over. Their job is over. You don't have to work along with someone just because you have the need to have them on board. If you don't need someone, you don't need someone. As simple as that, okay? And like I said at the onset, your company is going to kind of do better if you kind of say no to those people, because they do not come here to do original work. They're actually coming here, or they actually go to organizations to do artificial work. They're pretending half the time. They're enjoying the salaries, they're enjoying the lunches, the dinners, the networking, the contacts. But at the end of the day, they are not delivering anything. So who's responsible for that hire and fire? You. The head of the organization is responsible for that. So try and get people who are constructively, creatively, meaningfully, with a purpose, contributing to your environment, because at the end of the day, there are so many more people who can cater to your objective and meet up with your vision and stuff. And if you were to look at the case studies of most established top 10 or top 20 organizations, they do not believe in personal hiring. They believe in professional hiring. So you take the top 10 or the top 50 leaders of the brands in the country, and you will know what I'm talking about, you know. So there are many people who are in the systems for long term. They come with their own forte and their own specialization and stuff, but over the years what makes sense is to kind of churn and have new talent coming in and stuff, and you yourself need to give yourself that exposure so that you learn more. So say for example, if I'm working from here, you know, this personal space that I have, and I have no new ideas coming to me, I can't turn around and say, hey, you know what, I don't think I'm going to work now and I'm going to throw a fit because I'm working from home. It's my job to kind of cater to what pushes me and gets me back on track. So I have to choose the situation. I have to choose not the environment. I have to choose what kind of gets me back on track. So it could be I mean, it could be listening to some music. It could be kind of taking a market recce. It could be reading a good book. It could be looking at a podcast. It could be kind of stepping into a mall, kind of getting into an art gallery, kind of, you know, hitting it off with some intellectual people and stuff. So whatever that gets you kick-started is what is important, you know. So do that. I'm Jashin Kapani, and I'm on jashinkapani.im@gmail.com. My alternate email address is jkapani@gmail.com. Thanks so much for your likes and messages. And I'm really honored and really humbled, you know, to be receiving this compliment from a professional acquaintance, come a friend of mine who's in Morocco. So many thanks. It was so nice to hear from you, and all the best for your movie. Take care and love and love. Bye bye.